Amy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm so excited that you're here.
I,
And this
I
is,
am thrilled. I'm just so excited. Looking
I,
forward to it all day.
oh, good. Yay. This is going to be so exciting for our listeners to hear about what you're doing and to get to know you better. And we've talked, and I love what you're doing and getting to know you and the energy that you exude and much you love people and want to make a difference. So I want you to tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you're doing.
Okay, well, thanks again, Cheryl. So I am a mom and a wife. My husband and I have been married for 25 years. We have two daughters. They're now 21 and 19. And so I'm an empty nester too. And that's a new role for me. And in the middle of COVID, like right in the beginning, I have an art studio at my house, and I would have summer camps at the house, and I would do private lessons. And so I'm part of this Facebook group for art studio owners. And someone posted, learn how to have an online class. And I'm like, okay. So I wasn't leaving my house. So I thought, well, why not? So I took this free workshop. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. So then he sold this course and I signed up for the course. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And then my initial thought for this course was going to be art lessons for kids, like this membership, art lessons for kids. And I started down the road of that. And I decided I wasn't really feeling passionate about it because it was going to be all one-way interaction. Me teaching art lessons, thinking that the kids are going to do it at home. And then at one moment, my older daughter was home getting her wisdom teeth removed. And we got in a little bit of an argument in that moment after her surgery. And I walked into the studio and this light bulb, it was like a epiphany. It's like, oh, I'm changing this. I am going to pivot. I am going to do something for mothers and daughters, because I knew in the moment of our argument that we would find resolution because of the way we have to communicate with each other. And that is when the mother-daughter art project was born. That was the starting point. And I couldn't stop, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since that moment 18 months ago.
Wow, that's so cool that you have that one moment where you know exactly where you were standing.
Yeah, right. Actually, right there, I see it.
Where
Here, right here.
Where it hit you. Now, behind you, now our listeners on the podcast can't see it, but this is also going to be on YouTube. It's gorgeous behind you. Like, did you create that? I see you have you have a project, one of your box projects back there.
Yes. So the posters I have behind me were created when I was teaching art, and I taught art for 12 years to kindergarten through 5th grade. And every 4 or 5 years, I would rotate the first project of the year. And these posters came from that first week. Every class, I made a new poster for them. So like this one says, artists, everyone's an artist, right? So this small one. And I painted the black words. I cut it up in the back and I numbered it for a puzzle. As the students walked in, I gave them a puzzle piece and they colored while I spoke to them and gave them a tour of the room. And I talked about expectations and how to clean paintbrushes and all of that, like transactional things that no one wants to just sit and listen to. So they were busy doing something and listening. And then at the end, I talked about community and the importance of behavior and working together. And while I'm having that conversation, I'm calling up the numbers 1 through 5 and I'm taping them together. And it's all upside down. So I'm taping the puzzle together with them in the room. And then I'm saying, well, what if one of these puzzle pieces was torn or ripped or missing? Right. And I related that to behavior. and we wouldn't know what this puzzle would be. And so then I would do a big reveal and talk about, everyone, we just need to share supplies and be kind and be part of our community. And then I would hang these posters in the room as a reminder. And so people would come in and say, oh, I did that piece, or I did that piece, or I did that piece. And so when I left my job 4 years ago, I took the puzzles, and they're all over my studio.
How beautiful is that? What strikes me is what you're doing now is those puzzle pieces, you were creating that community and that connection
Yes,
with the kids. And you were also teaching them, talking to them while they were creating.
it's exactly, you're right. Yeah. There, I have always been about connection, community. And, sometimes it's really hard to have a conversation when you're staring someone in the eyes and you're sitting across and there's nothing for your hands to do. And you're thinking, what do I do? And then you get distracted. And I feel, for me at least, and I find it for others too, you can be so much more focused on a conversation if you're actually doing something. If you're coloring, like, the people who doodle or fidget, I mean, they're listening.
Yeah.
Just because they're coloring or doodling or fidgeting doesn't mean they're not listening. It helps with the process. And so what the Mother-Daughter Art Project does, right?
Yeah.
I send every month art supplies for a specific project. And I want to also point out that I am not trained in art at all. Everything I do and I send and I've taught is all self-taught. And I make art accessible for everyone, regardless of how old you are. And so many people, I think, get stuck that they're not artists. Like, oh, I'm not an
Yes.
artist.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the projects I have here, and I'll describe it, is 9 hearts. They were empty wooden hearts, and I sent glue, and I sent all these beads and crayons and puff balls and paper and yarn and shells, and like a whole bag full.
You all, it's gorgeous. Those that can't see. Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
So then the mom did 3, the daughter does 3, and they do 3 together.
Oh my gosh, that's so creative.
Yes.
Who
So
even thought about that?
I'm
Three, the mom does 3, the daughter does 3, and then you do 3 together. That's so special.
this is actually one of my favorites.
I
So
love
I sent chipboard with holes and string to connect them together. And I sent all this stuff, right? All this stuff. And I encouraged them to take things from their own house, right? So the mom would do 2, the daughter would do 2, and they would do 2 together. And then they trade. So this is a yours, ours, and mine.
Wow, it's so cool, everybody. It's got what do you call that? It's like
Well,
what do you call when it hangs like that? There's
it's
3 different boards, and
there's they're like 4x4 pieces of chipboard with holes. And I sent paint for them to paint the background, and then it would dry. There's 30 minutes, right? We can start talking about the questions, because in the Mother-Daughter Art Project, there's questions every month about a certain theme. And I try to divide the projects into 30 minutes a week, because, realistically, finding an hour and a half or whatever to spend uninterrupted can be really challenging. So I try to divide the projects up. So first step, paint the background. That's it. Talk about some of the questions that I send. Second step, decide what you're going to design, what your designs are going to be. And then maybe glue 1 or 2 of the things down. That can be the second 30 minutes. The third 30 minutes, finish it off, and then finish up with the questions, and then trade and put them together.
yeah, I love that. And it's one a month, so you don't feel like all this pressure to get it done. You have the whole month to do it. And what makes this so special, and I want to show those, you sent me one, and my daughter comes home tomorrow and we're going to do it. And it's I mean, the way that you have it packaged and all, I mean, look at this. You all that are listening, there's how many paints in this? This is amazing. All
Yeah,
the,
that's like a puffy 3D paint that you'll use to write things you're grateful for on your gratitude prayer flags.
yeah, I got the gratitude one with prayer flags. And so explain the cards that come, because this is you're creating. So it's a creative part. And then there's the connection piece to start a conversation.
Yes.
So tell the listeners about this.
So in addition to all the supplies needed for doing one project, there's a theme, which is the connection part, like you said. And for example, 1 month, the theme was emotional wellness. And I also have a podcast called the Mother-Daughter Art Project. And I interview guests about the themes every month. So on one side of the card, I have the information about my guest and how to find them. But on the other side are all the questions. And the questions start out really simply because we want our daughters to feel comfortable asking us questions. So, for emotional wellness, Mom, what does it mean to you to feel emotional? And then that is it's a personal question. It seems like an easy question to get asked. But then as we go through this spectrum of questions, they get more vulnerable. The questions can be more vulnerable. And it really turns into a learning moment for the daughter and the mom. And so one of the questions, Mom, how are you able to help yourself get out of a feeling you don't want to be feeling? So then the mom gets to share what her personal experience is with her daughter, and then also flip the question around and ask her daughter in an age appropriate way as the same question, knowing that the moms know their daughters best. These are the questions. And then I really loved the friendship theme, because Mom, tell me about some friends you had when you were my age. That's a really simple question. To Mom, did you ever have to end a friendship, and how did you do it? Because I think especially with tweens and teens, our friendships can be sometimes really fluid, and we don't know how to handle it. And our children, our girls and sons are struggling with that. Like, I don't like this person anymore, or it doesn't feel good in my gut.
Yes.
And they're not really sure what to do. So, and these conversations are not, I want to say two things about the questions. The conversations are non-transactional conversations, meaning it's not your daughter asking you to drive her someplace, do her laundry, give her some money. And it's not you asking her, did you do your homework, clean your room? Those are all to-do list kind of conversations. And those conversations are important to have. But these conversations that come from the questions are non-transactional. It means whatever your answer is, that's your answer. And I want to encourage the moms to really know that they can say, I need to give that some thought. As
Yes.
moms, we think we need to know the answer right away. And when we say to our daughters or to anybody, like, I actually need to give that some thought. I'm not sure how I want to answer that. I don't know for myself. It models for your daughter that she doesn't have to know everything all at once.
We have to pause, because that's something I've learned in like the last 10 years, especially with my business. I think I always had to think I was supposed to know, I was supposed to know the answer to something. And so I almost like pulling something out just to say something, but just being able to admit I really don't know. Like that, there's freedom in that we don't, like even parenting, taught us how to do this. I mean, half the time we don't really know what we are doing. So like, it's okay not to know. So I just had to say, I just love that concept.
It reminds me of a conversation I had with one of my daughters in her, I think, second year of college. So now it's obviously the older one because now she's a senior. But, I was really, I had a hard time letting go. And like I missed her so much.
I know.
Um, and she was, what we do for our children is we want them to have these strong wings, right? And when they're doing it, it is still hard for us. And I remember telling her directly, I'm trying to navigate my role as your mom now. Like, I don't know how to do this. So I'm trying to figure it out. So just the admitting that I don't know what I'm doing and I'm trying my best. And it was bumpy. It was bumpy for a while, but we got through it.
I
And
love that. I love that, Amy. And that's just so vulnerable to be able to say, I don't know how, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to navigate this, and this is new for me.
yeah, and she, in the way that we have our relationship, she's able to tell me that, things that she doesn't like that I do. And then I have to respect that.
Yes,
We have to respect when our kids say, don't do that.
such a
Or
good point. Because we tend to, the natural reaction, I think, is to get defensive. And of course, we're going to do some things they don't like.
right. I'm not saying to not ever do things that our kids don't like, because as they're growing older and their frontal lobes are forming, they're still not fully functioning adults yet, but they will be. And as their parent or adult, then we definitely have more experience than them. I'm not saying don't ever make your kids upset,
Oh,
because
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I
that's
wasn't
just all
even,
part of it.
yeah, I wasn't even taking it that way. I was more like, our kids are going to give us feedback sometimes that's spot on, that we
Yeah.
don't like. Yeah,
Yes.
but what I heard you saying is that when she gives you feedback, you're able to take that in. Am I understanding you correctly? Like when she gives you, yeah.
Yes. Usually. And one of the things that I do to take that pause when, whether it's my daughters, my husband, any, a friend, if we're having a conversation and I'm starting to feel a little triggered, and I want to make sure I'm listening with my open heart and taking it all in and not reacting, I curl my toes. And
You curl your toes.
it grounds me to the earth. It is my own private way to make my pause and have a physical sensation in my body rather than the like the deep breath. When you do that, people know you're pissed.
Yeah.
And then they'll just get more upset.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you curl your toes. Yeah, I'm trying to think what I do. I think I go like this. I raise my shoulders up to my ears, I think. I get all stressed out in here, but the
Mhm.
curling their toes, that helps you. That's yeah.
And I've shared that with others. I would encourage people to try it, to curl your toes, because I can curl them like I'm curling them right now, right? And you have no idea. I'm not anxious or nervous or scared, but I want to make sure I speak slowly and that I'm
Mhm.
clear.
Uh-huh. Do you have long toes or do you have short toes?
I think I have short. I think I have short toes. I'm a short person. I'm only 5 feet. I'm a small package.
Oh, I just had to ask. I'm sitting here trying to curl my toes, and I have
You can just squeeze
stubby
them.
feet.
Just
Just,
squeeze them, I mean.
just squeeze them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's been some of the feedback that you've gotten from you just launched this 18 months ago, but it's starting to take off. I mean, your energy and excitement around it is contagious.
Thank you.
And I believe so much in what you're doing that this is so needed. What's the feedback? that you're
I've
getting?
only gotten good feedback. Like, wow, um, it's brought us closer. My daughter loves the time. She gets so excited to get the box. And one mom said she just loves to do the QR code. She's 7. She loves to do the QR code to the time lapse video that I create for the project. And they do schedule the time, just like I suggest, for 30 minutes a week, because she has a little brother. And the little brother sometimes wants to be part of it. And sometimes they let the little brother be part of it. And sometimes it's just, that one-on-one time. And the projects, everybody's been very happy with the supplies that I send, the quality of the supplies, the creativeness. And I have a 17-year-old who's a member with her mom. And one of the things she's told me is, before she thought, oh, I don't do art, I'm not an artist. And through these projects that are so accessible to all the ages, she's had a mindset shift, and she feels like she's an artist and creative, and she's getting closer with her mom, and she's leaving for college next year. So this is, great time to, like, for them, one last really good solid year of spending time. And I know they're both busy, but they've committed.
Yeah, they've committed to doing it. And I like what you said about so much being transactional, because that's so true. And we can spend so much time, nagging or reminding or telling them what they need to be doing versus just being. And there's nothing like art to, put you in the present moment when you're creating. And it grounds you in the moment where you can just fully be. And I like the way that you have also designed the questions, and maybe the listeners picked up on this, that the daughter asks the mom first. It's not us interrogating them. They get to ask the questions.
And the reason for that, there's a very specific reason for that. We want our daughters to feel really comfortable and know that we are their safe space. We are a safe space for them. We want them to come to us with questions that are not on a card. So as our daughters grow through their tweens and teens and into adulthood, we want them to come to us to ask us questions, and to be that trusted resource. Not our only trusted resource, right? But we want them to come to us. And so having the daughter practice asking the questions from a card, reading the words, and then the mom listening with curiosity to her question, and then flipping it back and asking the daughter that same thing, like, what about you? Who are your friends right now? And then just listen with curiosity. Silence is really powerful.
Yes. Yes. Listening is really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Versus it's easy maybe to get in those conversations, and then our kids might feel like we're judging them, or, not being that safe listening space for them. And so being able to listen is the most powerful thing that we can do when it comes to like connecting and loving our kids, showing them love. Yeah.
And
So
I
you're
think it's important also that our daughters know that we actually were not always this age. We were not always a mom. We were little girls once, and we were teens once, and preteens, and we went to college, and we had not the same experiences, because nothing is ever the same for any two people, but we had experiences to get us to where we are, and we're human and vulnerable. And I think as a mom, to be able to show our kids that we are human and we
Mhm.
don't know, and we struggle, and we have intention, and we want to do our best. And I think there's so many good lessons.
There are so many good lessons. I was even thinking that sometimes we don't know what to say to get a conversation started. That's what I find working with moms, I make a lot of conversation scripts for moms, like, because it's just like, oh, maybe we shouldn't say that, but what do we say? I mean, it's not, it's not easy to always know. And so you provide the questions that helps get the conversation started. And I really believe we need that. And it helps kids develop skills with asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I even feel like with phones nowadays, kids, they're not having those face-to-face conversations, taking the time where kids are really asking the questions. Like that's a skill to learn.
It's true, because especially in texting, you're always right in the middle of a conversation, and and the texting, when we're texting, any of us, it's all transactional. What time are you going to be home?
Yeah.
What do you want for dinner? I'm going jogging. I'll be home at 10.
Mhm.
Those are all, none of those are conversations that open our heart and get us deeply connected.
Yes. Yeah. Which your questions provide that. And I just love that. And yeah, being able to get to know each other on a whole different level.
That's what this is all about. And knowing that it's not about the end product of what the art project is. It's not about that product at the end. It's about the process that you spend time together, the journey that you're on over time, to create this space. So when you create the space for your daughter 30 minutes a week, you're showing her she's really important. She's a priority. I have time for you.
Yeah. 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 I love that. There was something you were saying, and I was thinking so many lessons that are in this, just even we were talking before we got on here, you're talking about the creative piece, and I'm not an artist, and I have taken some art classes, and I find it very telling because I usually compare myself to whoever's sitting next to me, that theirs is so much better than mine, and I'm not an artist. I think we can do that in different ways in our lives too, versus, like you said, just being in the process. I mean, life is such a process, and an imperfect one at that. And you were talking about your little plaque. Tell them
Yep.
about your little plaque.
So I also, by the way, sometimes feel like I'm not an artist. I can't draw. And so all these boxes are not drawing boxes. I mean, they come with a project for art, but really it's a connection box. So I also have those comparison feelings. And for so long, I always felt like I needed to do everything perfectly. And if I didn't already know it, it was too late for me to learn. And I'm not sure what happened. I think it was when I turned 50 last year. Now I'm almost 51. That I just decided I'm going to try it. I'm going to do this. So my plaque is, she is perfectly imperfect. And I have it here on my desk. It floats around. I never put it away. And it's just really my reminder that, I'm doing all of this business in fear. I'm doing it in fear and imperfection. And, if I fail, that's moving forward also, because then I'm learning. And
That whole growth mindset,
yes,
which is so important. Yeah, I love that. And that's how we learn, is through those mistakes. And that whole perfectionism thing holds us back from so much. So
yes,
you feel like so when you turned 50, I'm curious, did you get this idea before you turned 50 to do this?
I did. So it was 18 months ago that I had this idea. And I'm just going to do it. And I'm not a business person. And, everything about me as a person is in this box, from
Yeah.
the art and the questions and packaging and the video. Everything about that is fully me, and the creativity of it. And everything that's not in the box, like the website and the finances and the marketing and the email, that's all not my skill set, but I am learning. And I have people that I've surrounded myself with that encourage me, teach me, and help me move forward with this. And I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah, I love that. And I want the moms to hear that because I think you have a dream. And my feeling is that you got that dream and that passion inside of you, and that because you're so passionate, because this is how I feel about moms of tweens and teens, it's like that fear that you have, the passion overrides it. The excitement about what you're doing overrides it. And so when I get scared, I have to say to myself, I'm serving other people with my passion. And so I'm going to show up. I'm going to do this, even though I may fall flat on my face. I'm passionate about it. And so that really helps me. And then I'll learn from it if I fall flat on my face.
Yeah.
Which I have, but I'll keep on learning because that is what just is my guiding light, so to speak, is that passion that I have. Does that feel like?
Oh, that feels
Yeah.
like really it's me. People are waiting for what I have.
Yes.
People are waiting for my offer. They may not know it, or they may be like trying to find something to develop this connection with their daughter. They might know that they want it. Let me see if I have something right here. So when I imagined how the mothers and daughters were going to be having their relationship, here it is. Let me just explain this. When I envisioned the mothers and daughters, where they would be and start and where they would end up, I didn't think about it in words. And I thought about it in images. And I was on a hike with our youngest daughter. And I had this image, and I came home and I drew these flowers out. And I've since, I'll show you, done them again. But this is the first stage of the mother and daughter. So they're in the same garden. The stems are separate.
Yeah,
And
there's 2 flowers for those who can't see
yes,
it. Yeah.
2 flowers, one's tall, one's shorter. They're not really touching with the petals, and the stems are kind of far away. This is where they're at. The mom is thinking, gosh, I really want to spend some more time with her. And so then, she sees this finds this mother-daughter art project and starts, working through the monthly boxes with the connection questions and all of that. And so the second picture is also 2 flowers, the same 2 flowers. The stems are closer. The petals are touching a little bit of overlap, and their relationship is developing to be closer. And then the third stage is really the same 2 flowers. They're both bigger flowers, and now they have petals, and leaves. Now they have leaves. And so they're really growing. They're each growing, not just the daughter growing. They're both growing as humans, and they're getting more connected. And then the fourth stage, I think, is what we really want to have, because as our kids leave our nest and go and establish their own life and away from separate from us, is now those 2 flowers are in a container. And this is the safe space for them. And this container can go from my house to your house. It can just hold us no matter where we are.
Yeah, I love that. Because you've laid that foundation.
Yes.
You've laid that foundation. That's just beautiful. And you have it. And I said, I have to have you on before Christmas and Hanukkah so that moms can know about this, because I think it's a wonderful gift to get. And you have it as a membership, and the membership is closed right now, but it's opening up next Tuesday, which
it's opening November 27th for Small Business Saturday.
Okay, November 27th. Okay, so this will go live before then. So I believe. And if not, it'll be the week after. How long does it stay open?
I'm going to keep it open until December 7th. So my birthday is in the middle of that week. So it's going to open up November 27th. My birthday is on December 5th, and I'm going to close it on December 7th. And I will welcome anybody who'd like to join in and take this offer. It's a monthly subscription, or you can do a 3 months at a time. You can get a gift for 3 months and you'll get a gift certificate. And everyone who signs up in this opening from November to 27th to December 7th will start in January.
Oh,
But
that's great.
yeah, they'll start in January, but if you buy it as a gift, then you'll get a gift certificate.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. Yeah, because then you don't have to worry about it'll start in January. That's a fresh start. Like that's perfect time.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then how many boxes did you say they get for that? For do you join and is it a year membership? How does that work?
So I have it, it's monthly, a monthly membership. And you can, if you wanted to cancel, you'd have to cancel before the 10th. But it just will mark off your,
So
you'll
you
get
can
charged
join and
every
you can
month.
go as long as you want.
Yes, I have people that have been in since the beginning.
Wow.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
And so, yeah, 16, this is my 16th month. And the gratitude prayer flags is what they're doing now and talking about gratitude. And I wanted to mention, since you're going to be doing it with your daughter, and there's one banner in there. If you had another string or cut that silk thread, in half, then you can make some and she can make some, and then you can do some trading. So since she doesn't live at home, you can each have a banner of 6 flags that you each have both of your work on.
Oh, I love it.
Mhm.
I can't wait. And I'll take a picture and I'll put it on Instagram to show it
Awesome.
off too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I just love what you're doing so much and I'm so excited to see how this just takes off. And I know you believe so much in what you're doing. It's going to take off.
I really do. I feel like I needed to figure out a lot of things in the last 16 months, 18 months to, what I wanted it to be and look like and all of that. And now I feel like really solid, established. I'm planned from now until August with my themes and my projects. And so I feel really solid to welcome more mother-daughter pairs into the community and start having an impact on their relationship. I'm ready. I am ready for more people.
Yeah. And I mean, it's already taken off, but it's just like going to grow, grow, grow. You're going to have your own warehouse and everything.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
that honestly really scares me, and I'm doing it anyway. Because
Yeah.
people say, "What are you going to do when you have that?" I'm like, I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, what encouragement do you have even to the mom that's sitting here and maybe she's sitting on some dream, or something that she feels passionate around and she's scared and she feels like everything has to be perfect. What would you say to her?
Yeah, you're making me cry because you're describing me 18 months ago. And this opportunity to learn about how to do what I'm doing showed up right at the right time. And I took the opportunity and I learned and I pivoted. I've been pivoting and pivoting and pivoting all the way through. And honestly, I know this is like probably cliche when people say it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. But honestly, if I can do this, anyone can do it.
I feel like that too. So moms, it's a beautiful thing and I love your emotion and the tenderness of your heart. And I just want moms to know that it's important that we have our own lives and our own passions and things that bring meaning into our life. especially you and I are in the empty nester stage.
Yeah. I also want to point out that I think my daughters are really proud of me.
Yeah.
And like, I stopped teaching 4 years ago, and then I was home, and, and then they left, and, I'm not sure what I would be doing right now. I feel like I have a purpose, and I feel like I'm being a good role model for them to pivot and just try new things. I think they're really proud of me.
Yeah, I'm sure that they are so proud of you. Yeah. And I know when I started doing moms of tweens and teens, I saw a real difference in my kids. Like they all of a sudden felt like they could start really going after their passions, and they were afraid, but they were trying things that they were scared to try. I think because they saw me doing it and it was inspiring to them.
Yeah.
And we have all those doubts and fears. I mean, we were talking about, it's like I go on the podcast and am I not going to sound smart enough? Am I going to sound stupid or whatever? And it's like, nope, gonna go on here and do it anyway. And then we learn and we grow.
I have a lot of those doubts too, but I really feel passionate and believe in the idea and the concept. And I really want mothers and daughters relationships to have that connection and bridge like I have with my kids. I I want them to have the same kind of communication and understanding and skill set that I've nurtured and created.
Yes. Yeah. It's a gift. Well, thank you, Amy, so much for everything that you're doing, and love, getting to know you, and share where they can find it.
So on my website is amysartpalette.com. It's palette is 1L 2T's. So amysartpalette.com. Also, I'm on Facebook as Amy's Art Palette. Also on Instagram at Amy's Art Palette. It's all Amy's Art Palette. And that's my umbrella business, Amy's Art Palette. And one of the things I offer is the Mother Daughter Art Project subscription box, the Mother Daughter Art Project podcast. And then I have some other things that I am also offering. Right now, I'm doing some family connection packs. So sending like 4 different boxes with multiple supplies to different houses. And they're going to get on their own Zoom call and have the gratitude conversation and do the project, all 16 of them. So Amy's Art Palette offers a lot of things. So, but the Mother Daughter Art Project subscription box is where you can find what we've been talking about.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing, awesome. Amy. Can't wait, moms, for you to check it out. So I'll put all the links in the podcast notes as well.
Okay, great.
All right. Thanks so much.
Cheryl.